Hello everybody, in this video I want to talk about Nintendo Switch 2. Well, more like why we need a more powerful Nintendo Switch. Now, I've been playing Nintendo Switch lately much less than I played before, and most of the time I actually played Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I really like. But when I jump into games that are more scale, open world games, well, you can definitely see the developers, well, are limited in what they can do. And basically, this is directly related to the power of the Nintendo Switch. And that's why you see low textures. It's definitely have less uh, lighting effects. And you're going to see the world just looks more plain and in some cases ugly. You're also going to see much less details. So there are some games that you just can just counting the trees. You don't understand why there's one tree there, one tree 30 meters from there, because you just the developer is just limited in how much they can actually cramp into the world. Now, the thing is that when I saw, by the way, Unreal Engine 5, I thought to myself, maybe this will actually improve things, because if can improve things on any platform, right? Because you can actually use high quality assets and the technology allows the games to run at better frame rate. Maybe we're going to see games looking better on the Switch, but I haven't played any Unreal Engine 5 game just yet on the Switch to see how much it can actually help. Now, the bottom line is the developers are restricted. If they have an option to create more beautiful worlds, more detailed worlds, they will definitely do it. Uh, but the thing is that the hardware just limits it. So you're going to see low resolution textures and much less detailed world. And I've seen this in Pokemon Arceus. By the way, Zelda Breath of the Wild was an exception because the direction, by the way, the art direction was actually very good because they can create a low poly work of relatively, low poly look of the world, and it still look kind of a cartoony, but really nice in terms of design, and it ran, of course, really well, and it looked actually nice. So, and they were able to cram some nice amount of details there. So this was an exception, but not every game actually take this approach, and some just taking of the more realistic look of the game, and then you start seeing things getting a bit ugly. And this is why when I look at the world of Pokemon Arceus, I was just it was ugly. It was so ugly, it's unbelievable. I mean, I feel bad for developers where they they can actually make a game that is based on how they actually imagine it to look because they know that it just won't run well if they made something like that. So they're very restricted, and that's what you get basically. Now, when I talk about visuals, I'm putting the gameplay aside. I'm not saying this is supposed to come instead or not instead of gameplay. Of course not. I'm just saying strictly on the visual aspect of the game, there's a big limitation. And the other thing is when I walk in games, and this can be, start from second, accumulate to minutes, and then hours that I spend walking in the world, I want to be immersed. I want to say, wow, it's so beautiful, and I want to enjoy it. But when I play Pokemon Arceus, for example, it wasn't like that. It was actually really ugly, boring looking world. Now, of course, there are many games that run great, and of course, I'm not going to talk about that. There are many games that are not open world games. There are many games that actually, even if they are open world, they design well. They kind of take a different approach. I told you, Breath of the Wild is one of them, and of course, there are many games that just are amazing on the Switch. All right, I'm just talking about certain aspect of large-scale open world games that developers are limited in what they can create because they can't really put lots of 3D models in there. They can't really create, if you want high frame rate gameplay, they're limiting. The texture is going to be of low quality. They're going to use less lighting effects, visual effects, etc. Or if they want to use more visual effects, they're probably going to reduce other things. And basically, they need to kind of give up on something in return of trying to please you in different other ways. And yeah, and the bottom line is that we need a more powerful hardware. And just seeing that, and although I love the Nintendo Switch as a console, and I love the exclusive games for the Nintendo Switch, it hurts me that developers are limited like that. Because there are some games that you can just imagine how they would have looked like if they played, like, for example, on the PlayStation 5. Or forget about the PlayStation 5, even PlayStation 4. And and there's some games that you just can't play on those because they're exclusive. So, and you really like the gameplay and you really like the Nintendo exclusive, and you just stuck with that console because there's nothing else. And although I really love the Nintendo Switch, I'm kind of fed up already because of the limitation of the hardware and how it actually affects developers and their creative thinking about how they want their game to look like. So basically, developers could not make an ugly open world games in certain situation. They're just limited. They can't do anything else because otherwise, well, the game performance will be impaired. So I'm sure also you play some games that you just told yourself, man, this was empty. The world looks empty. It looks ugly. It doesn't look pleasing. And when you even play the game, as much as you hyped about enjoying the game, you just want to, just for example, look here. This is Pokemon Arceus, right? Look at the world. I I can't be immersed with the world when I see something like that. This is just ugly, an ugly open world game that looks like a game from I don't know, like 20 years ago. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but look at that. Look at the textures. Just and of course they try to make things kind of more stylized in certain aspect of the game. But when I explored the game like that, especially when I'm flying, it was just terrible experience. When I fly and explore the world, everything just looked totally flat and not interesting. Although the game is great and I really love the game, uh, I was very disappointed with how it looks. Very, very disappointed. And this is something that you can just imagine how on a better hardware those amazing games that you enjoy so much will look like, and it'll be so much more fun, immersive, and beautiful. And that's what I want. And it's just sad that we gave a hardware that is so limited in its capabilities that developers just can't really make those games just look crazily good. I'm sure if the developers had a more powerful hardware for even for this game, for example, Pokemon Chaos, you're gonna appreciate it. You're gonna see a world that is just so joy to explore and with so much more details, rather than kind of a sparse trees here and there, because they can really populate it with so much details. So tell me which games you are dissatisfied when it comes to visuals. Again, gameplay aside, I enjoyed Pokemon Arceus a lot, regardless of the graphics, but still, I wasn't immersed enough, and it was this part of the gameplay was lacking. So I'm asking you which game you were very disappointed with when it comes to visual, and do you think we really need a more powerful hardware, or you wouldn't mind even if we had 2 or 3 extra years without actually having another Switch? Do you think developers really need this one to deliver more exciting and beautiful gameplay experiences? Does it really matter or not? Let me know in the comment section below what you think. I really want to hear what you think. I see you on the next one. Cheers.